Today, we're about to attempt what Bugatti think is impossible.
Can't do that in a garage. There's just a few places in the world with the right equipment and only a few people in the world with the right training to be able to do.
In the world of hypercars, where billion-dollar vehicles are designed with extreme precision, the idea that an independent mechanic could dismantle a Bugatti Chiron in a standard garage seemed impossible. Bugatti, one of the most prestigious car manufacturers in the world, has long claimed that only their specialized service centers could handle such intricate work. Their CEO had publicly stated that the technical complexity, safety concerns, and proprietary tools required to work on a hypercar like the Chiron made it impossible for anyone outside the factory to attempt serious repairs. For years, this assertion maintained both the exclusivity of the brand and control over expensive spare parts, creating an air of mystique and authority around Bugatti's after-sales operations. Owners of these extraordinary vehicles were not only paying for a luxurious driving experience, but also for the assurance that only the factory had the authority to maintain and repair these machines. This meant that independent builders, enthusiasts, or even well-equipped mechanics were essentially barred from exploring or maintaining these cars on their own. The implications of this exclusivity extended beyond economics. It shaped public perception, reinforcing the idea that hypercars are untouchable marvels of engineering reserved only for those granted factory access. However, this long-standing assumption was dramatically challenged when Mat Armstrong, a highly skilled independent builder, took on the impossible. Without access to proprietary tools, specialized parts, or official factory support, Armstrong meticulously dismantled a Bugatti Chiron in an ordinary garage. He documented every step of the process, creating a detailed guide that not only showcases technical skill, but also demonstrated that hypercars could indeed be worked on independently. The achievement was not just mechanical. It was symbolic, challenging the idea that corporations had exclusive control over knowledge, repair, and maintenance of their creations. Armstrong's project quickly captured the imagination of automotive enthusiasts and broader audiences alike, marking a moment of profound significance in the ongoing conversation about repair rights, consumer empowerment, and the balance of power between manufacturers and independent professionals. What made Armstrong's accomplishment even more striking was the deliberate simplicity of his approach. Unlike the specialized environments Bugatti emphasized as essential, Armstrong relied on standard tools available to most professional garages. He combined careful research, patience, and methodical problem-solving to achieve what had been portrayed as impossible. Each component was carefully removed, cataloged, and analyzed, demonstrating a deep understanding of the vehicle's engineering. By doing so, Armstrong not only proved that dismantling a hypercar outside of factory walls was feasible, but also exposed the rigid assumptions underpinning Bugatti's claims. The public impact of this breakthrough was immediate. Millions of viewers followed Armstrong's videos, fascinated by the precision and clarity of his documentation. Enthusiasts marveled at the idea that what had once been considered exclusive knowledge was now accessible, challenging the monopoly that Bugatti and similar manufacturers had long held over repairs and parts. Beyond the technical feat, Armstrong's work became a rallying point for discussions about autonomy, transparency, and fairness in the automotive industry. He demonstrated that skill and determination could overcome barriers erected not by engineering necessity, but by corporate policy. This narrative resonated widely because it framed a compelling David versus Goliath story. A single independent mechanic, working in a modest garage, challenging the authority of a billion-dollar automaker. The symbolism of this story transcended cars, touching on broader themes of independence, ownership, and access to information in a world where corporations often control both knowledge and resources of Bugatti's public statements. Prior to Armstrong's intervention, emphasized safety, precision, and the inherent risks of independent repair. The company argued that the hypercar's complex engineering, tight tolerances, and high-performance systems necessitated specialized environments and trained personnel. Such messaging reinforced both the technical mystique of the brand and its control over after-sales services, creating a situation where independent access was framed as not only impractical, but potentially dangerous. Yet, Armstrong's successful rebuild directly contradicted these claims. He showed that with careful planning, systematic methodology, and an understanding of engineering principles, it was possible to navigate the intricacies of the Chiron without compromising safety or performance. This contrast between corporate assertion and practical demonstration ignited widespread discussion within the automotive community. Mechanics, enthusiasts, and advocates for repair rights saw in Armstrong's work a concrete example of how knowledge could be democratized. Meanwhile, Bugatti and its parent company, Rimac, were forced to confront the public perception challenges that arose from this high-profile demonstration. Their subsequent actions, including carefully timed factory tour invitations and subtle shifts in messaging, reflected a nuanced attempt to balance brand protection with responsiveness to a growing movement advocating independent repair access. The situation highlighted the tension between maintaining exclusivity and addressing evolving consumer expectations in an era of transparency, social media scrutiny, and rapidly disseminated information. Armstrong's efforts, therefore, were not only a mechanical achievement but a catalyst for a broader cultural and industry conversation, emphasizing the interplay between technical mastery, corporate control, and public engagement. The broader implications of Armstrong's challenge extend well beyond the confines of a single car or manufacturer. His work directly intersects with the global right to repair movement, which advocates for consumer and independent professional access to tools, parts, and knowledge necessary to maintain and repair their own products. While this movement has historically focused on electronics, agriculture, and household appliances, Armstrong brought the debate squarely into the high-stakes world of luxury automobiles. By demonstrating that even the most complex and expensive vehicles could be worked on outside official channels, he provided a tangible example of why monopolistic control over repairs is neither inevitable nor necessary. This has broader consequences for sustainability, as enabling independent repair can extend the lifespan of high-value products and reduce waste. Additionally, it democratizes knowledge, empowering skilled individuals to learn, experiment, and innovate without relying exclusively on manufacturers. Social media amplified this message, allowing audiences to witness the process in real time, engage with updates, and contribute to the discussion. Armstrong's measured, professional demeanor further strengthened his position, earning respect from a wide range of stakeholders, from industry insiders to casual viewers, all of whom recognize the significance of his achievement. By balancing technical excellence with thoughtful communication, he demonstrated that challenging corporate norms can be both impactful and responsible, fostering constructive dialogue that has the potential to reshape industry practices. As the automotive world watched, Bugatti's response reflected the delicate balance companies face when navigating the fallout of public scrutiny. Rimac's factory tour invitation, released shortly after Armstrong's rebuild went viral, was interpreted as a subtle gesture signaling openness without overtly conceding authority. By showcasing advanced production facilities and inviting enthusiasts to observe manufacturing processes, the company appeared willing to engage the community while maintaining control over proprietary knowledge. Observers noted the timing of this initiative, suggesting it was influenced by Armstrong's demonstration, yet carefully crafted to preserve brand image. The juxtaposition of corporate messaging with Armstrong's transparent, methodical work created a narrative tension that captivated audiences. Social media conversations and comment sections were filled with discussions about the underlying motives, the implications for repair access, and the symbolic power of independent initiative. Armstrong's position as a polite, skilled, and self-reliant builder strengthened the David versus Goliath framing, while corporate responses highlighted the complexities manufacturers face in reconciling exclusivity, customer trust, and evolving industry norms. The interaction between independent action and corporate signaling illustrates how public perception, media, and transparency now shape the strategic landscape for high-end automotive brands, emphasizing the growing influence of engaged, informed communities. Mat Armstrong's rebuild of the Bugatti Chiron didn't just stay confined to garages or automotive circles. It exploded online, capturing the attention of millions of viewers across YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, and automotive forums. The story resonated deeply because it symbolized the classic underdog narrative, one skilled independent mechanic challenging the authority of a billion-dollar corporation. Viewers were fascinated by the meticulous, step-by-step documentation, the patience with which Armstrong approached each component, and the clarity of his explanations. Unlike flashy marketing videos from manufacturers, Armstrong's content allowed audiences to witness the real-world process of dismantling a hypercar, offering insights into complex engineering that few had seen before. This transparency created a sense of authenticity and trust, encouraging enthusiasts to share, comment, and debate what they were watching. The online response quickly turned Armstrong into a symbol of skill, determination, and empowerment, inspiring not just automotive fans, but also advocates for the right to repair, consumer rights, and technical education. Across forums and comment sections, people discussed the implications of Armstrong's success, highlighting how it challenged long-standing assumptions about hypercar repair. Many viewers expressed admiration for his calm, methodical approach, noting that it contrasted sharply with the aggressive or defensive tone often seen in corporate communications. This helped position Armstrong as a credible, relatable figure whose work was accessible and educational rather than sensational. Fans debated the technical challenges of dismantling the Chiron, speculated about how he solved specific engineering problems, and even suggested improvements or alternative methods. The community engagement became a dialogue, not just a spectator experience, allowing people to learn from each other while participating in a shared story of innovation and independence. This interactivity amplified the narrative, ensuring that Armstrong's achievement would not fade quickly, but instead continue to shape conversations about repair accessibility, corporate control, and technical expertise. The online reaction also included a critical lens toward Bugatti and its parent company Rimac. Many commentators scrutinized the timing of corporate messaging, particularly the release of the Rimac factory tour shortly after Armstrong's videos went viral. While the factory tour showcased cutting-edge technology and the company's engineering prowess, viewers interpreted it as a strategic, image-conscious response to Armstrong's challenge rather than a genuine attempt to democratize repair knowledge. Social media users questioned whether the invitation truly represented openness or was a carefully controlled effort to maintain authority while appearing receptive to enthusiasts. This dialogue reflects a growing sophistication among online communities, demonstrating that audiences are attentive to corporate strategy and sensitive to perceived manipulations. Armstrong's rebuild effectively forced both manufacturers and the public to confront the tension between exclusivity, transparency, and consumer empowerment. Interestingly, the viral nature of Armstrong's work drew attention from people outside traditional automotive circles. Consumer advocates, legal experts, and even sustainability enthusiasts followed the project closely. The rebuild touched on broader social issues, such as access to information, the right to maintain expensive personal property, and the environmental implications of extending product lifespans. By dismantling a hypercar in a standard garage, Armstrong demonstrated that knowledge need not be monopolized and that independent actors could meaningfully challenge institutional norms. This broad appeal helped solidify the story as more than just a technical achievement. It became a cultural moment that reinforced the importance of transparency, education, and empowerment in a world increasingly defined by corporate control over critical knowledge. As the community engagement grew, Armstrong's professional demeanor became a key factor in sustaining support. By avoiding personal attacks or sensationalist rhetoric, he maintained credibility and attracted allies who value constructive, results-driven communication. Unlike many viral stories that hinge on drama or conflict, Armstrong's narrative relied on calm expertise and methodical demonstration. This helped frame the story as a movement centered on competence and integrity rather than mere rebellion. The sustained online attention pressured Bugatti and Rimac to respond thoughtfully, showing that engaged communities now wield significant influence over how corporations operate and communicate. In effect, Armstrong's work demonstrated the power of transparency and skill in reshaping public discourse and influencing industry norms, setting a precedent for independent innovators in other sectors as well. Following Armstrong's highly publicized rebuild, Bugatti and its parent company, Rimac, faced a delicate situation. On one hand, the companies had long emphasized the technical impossibility of dismantling a Chiron outside factory walls. Their official messaging framed such work as unsafe, requiring specialized tools, proprietary parts, and certified technicians. Bugatti's CEO had repeatedly stressed that independent intervention could compromise both the vehicle and its legacy, reinforcing the exclusivity of their service network. This approach had long been effective. It protected the brand's mystique, maintained high service revenue, and discouraged unauthorized work on hypercars. But Armstrong's methodical, publicly documented success directly challenged this narrative, demonstrating that the supposed impossible was achievable with careful planning, skill, and patience. Suddenly, Bugatti's authority over the after-sales process was under scrutiny. forcing the company to reconsider how it communicated with the public and managed perceptions of exclusivity. That Rimac's carefully timed factory tour video illustrates this nuanced response. Shortly after Armstrong's videos gained traction, Rimac invited enthusiasts to tour their facilities, which included both the Rimac Nevera electric hypercar and Bugatti prototypes. The invitation appeared at first glance to be a routine promotional effort, showcasing advanced manufacturing techniques and cutting-edge engineering. However, the timing, coming just after Armstrong's rebuild went viral, suggested a subtle strategic message. By opening their doors, even in controlled way, Rimac signaled a willingness to engage with independent builders and enthusiasts without explicitly acknowledging Armstrong's challenge. This allowed the company to maintain authority over proprietary processes while appearing responsive and transparent. Social media users quickly noticed this indirect communication, interpreting it as a cautious attempt to manage public perception while testing how the community would react. In essence, the tour became a symbolic gesture, walking the line between openness and control and demonstrating that even large, historically exclusive manufacturers must navigate public scrutiny carefully in the age of instant online attention. The reaction from the public further complicated Bugatti and Rimac's position. Fans, independent mechanics, and right-to-repair advocates closely examined both Armstrong's rebuild and Rimac's messaging, using social media, forums, and video comments to voice opinions. Many interpreted the factory tour as a sign of progress, suggesting that manufacturers could engage positively with independent builders without losing control over their intellectual property. Others remained skeptical, viewing it as damage control rather than a genuine shift toward openness. These reactions underscored a key point. In today's connected world, audiences not only consume content but actively interpret and critique it, holding brands accountable for inconsistencies between their messaging and actions. Bugatti's carefully curated image of exclusivity, once unchallenged, now faced a public conversation driven by transparency, creativity, and community engagement. At the same time, Armstrong's demeanor and approach strengthened his position in this dynamic. By remaining polite, professional, and focused on technical excellence rather than personal attacks, he maintained credibility and avoided alienating potential allies. This created a contrast with corporate messaging, highlighting the limitations of traditional brand authority when faced with a transparent, independent challenge. As the story unfolded, it became clear that Bugatti and Rimac could not simply assert exclusivity without considering public perception and community engagement. Armstrong's work effectively reframed the debate, demonstrating that skill, transparency, and persistence could influence even the most established corporate narratives. Ultimately, this interaction illustrates the complex balancing act faced by manufacturers of high-value, high-performance products. Maintaining strict control over repair processes protects brand identity, preserves profit margins, and ensures safety, but also risks public backlash if perceived as overly restrictive. In contrast, embracing greater transparency and supporting independent repair efforts can foster goodwill, attract enthusiasts, and align with evolving consumer expectations, but may dilute control over proprietary knowledge. Armstrong's rebuild forced Bugatti and Rimac to confront this tension directly, showing that corporate strategy in the digital age must account for empowered communities and real-time scrutiny. This scenario has broader implications for the entire automotive industry, highlighting the growing importance of balancing exclusivity, trust, and openness in a rapidly changing landscape. Mat Armstrong's Bugatti rebuild is more than a single technical achievement. It represents a turning point for the global automotive industry and the broader right-to-repair movement. For decades, manufacturers like Bugatti have maintained tight control over repairs, parts, and technical knowledge, framing these restrictions as necessary for safety, precision, and brand protection. However, Armstrong's success demonstrates that independent professionals, with patience and expertise, can navigate even the most complex systems without compromising performance. This realization has sparked conversations far beyond luxury hypercars, touching on issues that affect everyday consumers, automotive engineers, policymakers, and industry leaders. The idea that knowledge and repair capability need not be monopolized challenges long-standing corporate assumptions and emphasizes the growing demand for transparency, accessibility, and fairness across all segments of the automotive market. The implications extend directly to the right-to-repair movement, which advocates for consumers' ability to access tools, manuals, replacement parts, and software necessary to maintain their products. While this movement initially gained momentum in electronics, agriculture, and household appliances, Armstrong's high-profile demonstration has brought attention to automotive repair monopolies. Hypercars, often produced in small numbers and supported by proprietary service networks, have long exemplified extreme control over after-sales operations. By dismantling a Bugatti Chiron outside the factory, Armstrong highlighted that these restrictions are not always rooted in technical necessity. They can also serve corporate interests, including revenue protection and exclusive service control. This public demonstration has inspired other independent builders, mechanics, and enthusiasts to explore solutions, seek knowledge, and challenge unnecessary barriers, reinforcing the idea that accessibility and innovation can coexist without undermining safety or quality. Beyond the technical and regulatory dimensions, Armstrong's work has social and cultural significance. It demonstrates how modern platforms like YouTube and social media empower individuals to influence industries in ways previously reserved for large corporations. Millions of viewers have engaged with Armstrong's rebuild, analyzing his methods, debating repair strategies, and amplifying his achievements to a global audience. This visibility transforms what might have been a private, niche technical project into a public conversation that shapes perception, policy, and market expectations. Automotive brands now operate in an environment where skilled individuals can capture attention, challenge narratives, and mobilize communities, forcing manufacturers to adapt strategically. In essence, Armstrong's rebuild exemplifies how grassroots expertise, combined with transparency and public engagement, can challenge entrenched industry norms and shift the balance of power between corporations and independent actors. Environmental and sustainability considerations also intersect with these developments. Allowing independent repairs and broader access to technical knowledge can extend the lifespan of vehicles, reduce waste, and promote responsible resource use. Hypercars, often built with expensive materials and complex systems, represent a high-stakes example. Every repair or rebuild outside the factory prevents unnecessary waste, keeps vehicles operational, and democratizes access to engineering excellence. Armstrong's success demonstrates that careful, independent repair is not only possible but also responsible, highlighting a model for sustainable practice in high-end automotive engineering. This perspective aligns with broader societal trends emphasizing transparency, ecological stewardship, and equitable access to technology, signaling that independent innovation can have meaningful environmental as well as cultural impact. Finally, Armstrong's rebuild sets a precedent for how the industry might evolve in the coming years. Manufacturers are increasingly aware that resistance to independent repair can result in reputational risk, public scrutiny, and even regulatory intervention. Governments in multiple regions are exploring frameworks that require manufacturers to provide repair information, spare parts, and tools to independent professionals and consumers. Armstrong's demonstration provides a concrete, high-profile example of why such regulations may be necessary, showing both the feasibility and benefits of broader access. At the same time, it encourages manufacturers to proactively embrace transparency, community engagement, and collaboration with independent builders to maintain trust and brand loyalty. The story of Armstrong versus Bugatti may well serve as a template for the future, highlighting how expertise, openness, and public participation can reshape industries, empower individuals, and redefine the relationship between consumers and corporations. Mat Armstrong's rebuild of the Bugatti Chiron has forced a reevaluation of the delicate balance between corporate control and independent expertise. Luxury automakers like Bugatti have traditionally relied on exclusivity, proprietary knowledge, and controlled repair networks to maintain brand prestige and protect revenue streams. These measures ensure that only certified technicians, using authorized parts and specialized tools, could maintain the vehicle performance and reliability. While these policies were justified under the guise of safety and precision, Armstrong's success illustrates that highly skilled independent builders can perform complex repairs with care, accuracy, and respect for engineering standards. The rebuild effectively challenges a notion that hypercars are untouchable, demonstrating that technical mastery, research, and methodical execution can rival, or even exceed, factory expectations. This development underscores a broader question. Should manufacturers continue to monopolize knowledge and parts